Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is, can Paul George finally get his revenge these playoffs? So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, you make sure you check out Dreamerspro Max, an online sports community, a place that we created where you can go and chat live during games, start basketball discussions, and so many other cool things. So if you guys are interested in that, be sure to check it out. We have that linked in the description below and get 7 days of access. Also, make sure you go ahead and click the join button to join the channel to receive loyalty badges from the channel, and also to ensure whenever you leave a comment when we go live, it's responded to. So make sure you go ahead and do that. It's next to the subscribe button. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. So today I want to talk about Paul George. Now, no one has been more ridiculed this year, since last year, dating back since last year, than Paul George. No one has, right? Everyone is taking a shot at Paul George when they had the opportunity. This includes NBA players like Devin Booker, CP3, so many others. This also includes media members like Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless, so Nick Wright. Everybody's made fun of Paul George, calling him Pandemic P, and even sports fans, right? Sports fans, people who follow the game, fans have made fun of Paul George, right? No one trusts Paul George, right? He's been public enemy number one since what happened, last year in the playoffs. And what has he done this year, right? In response to all of this, Paul George has come out this year and pretty much answered the majority of his critics because he's played really well in almost all the big games that the Clippers have had this season, and the Clippers have had a lot of big games. You can go back to opening night when they faced the reigning champs, the Los Angeles Lakers, on opening night. He played well there. Then they played the team that knocked them out in the playoffs last year when they were up 3-1 on them. In the Denver Nuggets, he played well in that series. And this season so far, of all of the big teams that the Lakers have played, that the Clippers have played, at least in the Western Conference, Paul George has had his fingerprints on all of those games that they've played in. Now, so far this year, the Clippers and the Lakers have played each other 3 times, and the Clippers have won all 3 of those games. The first game, you remember Paul George, he dropped 5 3-pointers, scored 33 points in that game. Paul George played really well. Then he's also helped the team go up 2-1 on the season series against the Phoenix Suns. Like, Paul George had a very big role of playing that, and he played very, very well. I think he scored 30 plus points in all of those games, or at least scored 30 points at least 2 times in the 3 meetings that they've played. Then he's helped them against the Denver Nuggets. Now, the Clippers this season are 1-2 against the Denver Nuggets, so they don't have a winning record, but he's played well in that series. He's helped them beat the Utah Jazz, who they have a 2-1 record against, and also the Dallas Mavericks. Now, it's fair to say that Paul George was there when they played the Dallas Mavericks early in the season. I think it was like in the first month and a half in the season, when they were down like 50 points, and they were around 50 points at half of that game. So Paul George was a part of that game, to be fair. Like, he hasn't been absolutely perfect all season long, but he was a part of that loss too. So just to be kind of balanced here. Now, if you look at his numbers this season, he's really bounced back, and there's no 2 ways about it, right? It's one thing for us to say, I feel like he's playing well, but it's another thing to go and actually look at his numbers and see that this guy's really improved if we're looking at the numbers last season. So last season, so you guys have a good contrast here. Last season for the Clippers, his first season with the Clippers, bear in mind that he was coming off of surgery on his shoulders over the offseason. He missed training camp, and he missed some games to start the season. So it's good to put things into context. Last season for the Clippers, first of all, he played less minutes. He played 29.6 minutes a game. That year he averaged 21.5 points for him, which is low, because the year prior he averaged 28 points with the Oklahoma City Thunder. He shot 44% from the field, 41% from the 3, which was very good, 87.6% from the free throw line, got you 5.7 rebounds, 3.9 assists, and 1.4 steals. This season, however, his numbers are up. Okay, this season he's playing about 4 minutes more, about 33.6 minutes per game. So he's playing more minutes this year. He's scoring 23.6 points per game. So his scoring has gone up, but by a nice clip. He's shooting a higher field goal percentage. He's shooting 47.3% from the field, which is very high for him. I think it's a career high for him from the field. Then he's shooting 42% from the 3-point line, which I also think is a career high for him as well. He's shooting 87% from the free throw line, which is pretty much a wash what he shot last season. But his rebounds are up this year. He's getting you 6.6 rebounds. His assists are up this year. He's getting you 5.2 assists, and he's getting you roughly the same amount of steals. Now, At a particular point, there was a stretch of games in the month of April where the Clippers played about 12 games, and Kawhi Leonard missed about 6 of those 12 games, and Paul George pretty much carried the team. He had sensational numbers in the month of April, and he really showed the team that, listen, for stretches at a time, he can carry the team. In the month of April, Paul George averaged 27.5 points per game, shot 48% from the field, 41% from the three, 89% from the free throw line, got you 7.4 rebounds, 4.8 assists, and 1.5 steals. So he did that in the absence of their best player, Kawhi Leonard, and he showed them that, listen, I'm good enough and skilled enough to really, to really carry this team and hold down the fort while Kawhi Leonard was out. So he really showed his value in the month of April, and that's when people started taking notice of him and saying, listen, this guy could possibly want to be one of the MVP candidates. So he really did his thing in the month of April. Now the question, so for me, he's bounced back already this season. There are only 5 games left in the season, so the season is finished. If we're looking at the calendar year, he's done his job. He's bounced back. He's had a much better year than he did his first year with the Clippers. Now, the question is, how will he respond in the playoffs, right? Because this year he's going to have a good opportunity, a good chance to really get some revenge. The Clippers, as we speak right now, currently are the number 3 seed. The number 6 seed are the Portland Trail Blazers. If the things remain the same, the Clippers are going to face the Portland Trail Blazers in round 1, which means that Paul George will have an opportunity to meet Damian Lillard in the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, let me just say this. In every opportunity that Paul George has had to play against his rivals, he's done extremely well, including the Portland Trail Blazers, right? He played extremely well, I think, in the last meeting when he met the Portland Trail Blazers. And to me, it's going to be nice to see how he's going to play against Damian Lillard, because to be fair to him, in those games where NBA players are talking trash to him, especially big name players, he has spanked these dudes on the court when he's played against them. So y'all remember the spat that he had last year in the Orlando bubble between him and Damian Lillard. So there's a good opportunity for him to get some revenge and some payback on Damian Lillard. Also going further back, what Damian Lillard did to him when he was with the Oklahoma City Thunder, hitting that shot in his face to win the series. You have that. Then there's a possible second round matchup, which is the one I'm going to be salivating for, to see the Clippers versus the Phoenix Suns. If the Phoenix Suns are able to beat the Lakers, we're going to get to that in a subsequent video. So if they get to the second round and they play the Suns, then he's going to have an opportunity to now go against Devin Booker, who was talking all that trash, and CP3, which is something that I really, really, really want to see. Because listen, I think Paul George is going to get the best of those two guys if they meet them in the playoff series. But I want to see it happen. The Suns currently have. They're 2 seeds ahead of the Clippers right now. They're the number 2 seed. No, excuse me. They're 1 seed ahead. The Clippers are the number 3. The Suns are the number 2. So it'll be very interesting to see if he's going to be able to get his revenge against them. And ultimately, there's a possibility if the Clippers make it past the second round to ultimately face the Denver Nuggets, who could make it to the Western Conference Finals, and he can go against them and exercise his demons and show them that, listen, we've shown that we can grow against this team. Now, Denver is a tough matchup for the Clippers for whatever reason, but if we're talking about Paul George, since we're focusing on him, I think he certainly has the talent and the skill to get his revenge this season, right? I think he has all of those things. I think he has all the requisite tools in his bag to go out there and be successful. The question is, will he do it? And now it's like a wait and see type of thing. The playoffs are going to be starting on May 22nd. The season is ending this week, depending on when you're going to see this video. So we're going to be able to answer this question fairly shortly, especially given that the play-in tournament is going to be quite interesting because, I think the Clippers are going to most likely play the Blazers, but it's going to be interesting to see the road the Clippers take and how Paul George is going to respond round to round and see if he's going to be a major part in them finally getting out of the second round. So I think the whole NBA world is going to be looking at him. Fans are going to be looking at him. I'm certainly going to be looking at him. So we have to wait and see. So what I want to know from you guys is quite simple. What do you think is going to happen? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.